Hey everyone, if you couldn't tell by the title, this is why the restricted slot is everything. I don't know if you know what this is based off of, if you get the reference. But yeah. So we're talking about basically a bunch of restricted slots that could easily be filled with non-restricted Pokemon, the rayquaza theorem. So I want to talk about 3 Pokemon, so I'm going to be talking about, Alright, so we're going to talk about Rayquaza, Kyurem Black, and Solgaleo. So I do want to talk about all of these and their counterparts and essentially why these Pokemon tend to not do as well as other restricteds. Essentially, restricted slots are really something you only get one of in this format, and you don't always want to commit to a Pokemon that another Pokemon could basically fill the same role, even with more damage output. Essentially, another Pokemon that could fill the same Pokemon's role is just giving you more chances to run another restricted and still basically get that Pokemon. Not that there isn't a chance to use these other restricteds, but essentially because these 3 other Pokemon we're going to see here can also fill the role and you could still get a restricted. So the first Pokemon I want to talk about is Rayquaza. Rayquaza is probably the best of the 3 Pokemon here, honestly. Airlock is very good to shut down weather, but you don't get Inner Focus like its counterpart Dragonite, who can be immune to Flinch and Intimidate. So Dragonite can actually do more damage than Rayquaza with Choice Band, because now you're multiplying attack damage by 1.5, and Rayquaza is forced to run Clear Amulet. Now, what's the thing with Clear Amulet, right? Every physical attacker has to run it now, because Incineroar is just that good. Eventually someone's going to get caught without the Clear Amulet, and they're going to get Incineroared. So, literally, we're running Incineroar just for that one guy who doesn't have the Clear Amulet. It really is crazy. It really is. So, what does Rayquaza have that Dragonite doesn't? Well, Rayquaza wants to run Extreme Speed, just like Dragonite. Rayquaza wants to run Dragon Ascent, which is actually a flying-type move that Dragonite does not have access to. This is its one thing, flying-type close combat. But you know what Dragonite has that Rayquaza doesn't? Stomping Tantrum. At least I don't think so. It shouldn't. Yeah. Dragonite gets ground coverage. Ground is just a really good counter to things like Zacian if you could get the chance to use it. Not to mention, I believe Rayquaza does not get Ice. Yeah, Rayquaza gets, no ice moves. Dragonite gets Ice Spinner. Another point for Dragonite. Dragonite gets coverage. But you know what? Both of them might want to run Iron Head, which are both really good moves, but Dragonite can do more damage with Choice Band. So, as you can see, that's why Rayquaza fails to do much as Dragonite. It still has a niche, it still fills a role, but you're countering, 3 restricted legendaries with this thing. Meanwhile, Cali Shadow counters literally everything, right? So, why not just use Dragonite? I feel like we still need some exploring to do. But yeah, Dragonite still definitely fills a role. It's kind of going to be like Portland Regionals, where it just jumps out and starts winning. Every early format, it's going to be for a Giraffe and the priority spammers. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see a lot of Rayquaza come first regional, which I believe is Indianapolis. So that's definitely going to be something, but I think slowly after, Rayquaza is going to be phased out of the meta very quickly, very, very quickly. So the next one we want to talk about is Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black's most popular set is Loaded Dice, Icicle Spear, Scale Shot. Now, does that sound familiar? So yeah, you may be thinking, well, Excalibur does those same things. Icicle Spear, Scale Shot. Now, what's the difference between these two? Kyurem Black, you're getting a lot more attack damage. But 145 base attack from Excalibur is still a lot. And Kyurem Black has a lot of... what stats does Kyurem Black win it? It beats it in every stat, right? But it's a restricted. There's a Chansey Clash going on. That's okay. So, Kyurem Black, we got that. Icicle Spear, Scale Shot. Excalibur, Icicle Spear, Scale Shot. You know how it is. So, what else can Kyurem Black really do, right? Excalibur has a lot of stuff going for it as well. You know, you have Glaive Rush, super powerful physical dragon-type move, 120 base power, and it's just a really big thing. You know what Kyurem has? It has Dragon Dance, but Excalibur can also Dragon Dance if you're so in the demand for that. Let's see what moves Kyurem Black has. Breaking Swipe, Dragon Claw, Outrage. I'd rather hit my moves, thank you. Yeah, Kyurem Black obviously does not have a lot compared to Excalibur, who is actually doing Dragon type damage. You're hitting Dragon types are super effective anyway, but here's the thing, you're both running Skill Shot anyway. I don't even think Excalibur wants to run Glaive Rush, but like, Glaive Rush is still really good because knockoff is so popular, right? So like, what's your plan if you get knocked off with Kyurem Black? You want a good move as backup, like Dragon Claw. Thing is, Dragon Claw is a bad move. It's got no additional effect. Glaive Rush is 120 power. That is really good. Glaive Rush is always going to be better than Dragon Claw, especially if you're running Protect, because then you could just protect off the 2 times weakness you create for yourself. Excalibur is better than Kyurem Black. Now I could run the calc, see if Glaive Rush does more than Dragon Claw, even if but Excalibur might actually hit harder than Kyurem Black. I doubt it. It's only a 40 power difference. But my point is that restricted slot, right? Kyurem Black takes up a restricted slot. Solgaleo and Metagross. Now, Solgaleo is basically a carbon copy of Metagross. Psychic Steel, Full Metal Body, Clear Body. Both of these do the same thing in which they prevent stat drops. Now, Metagross wasn't good, so what makes you think Solgaleo is going to be good? Using a restricted spot. Now, one thing Solgaleo has going for it is an actual speed stat. Still not very good compared to most restricteds. When you look at the attack stat, Solgaleo is only 2 points higher than Metagross. Because Metagross is this powerful pseudo-legendary who actually has a higher defense stat, so there's that. And has a higher special defense stat. Yeah, Solgaleo wins in special attack, but that doesn't matter. 2 points in attack? Why not use Metagross at that point? In fact, Solgaleo probably would want to be run on a Trick Room team anyway. At least Metagross has Trick Room speed it could take advantage of. Metagross has more of a use than Solgaleo. In fact, Metagross has priority with Bullet Punch. Why are you running Solgaleo? For Sunseal Strike, yeah, that's a lot of damage. Congratulations. Metagross has Heavy Slam. That's all the damage you need. Metagross is one of the heaviest Pokemon of all time. Heavier than Solgaleo. So, most of the time, its Heavy Slam is going to be doing more than Solgaleo's Heavy Slam. In many cases. Right? So, you always want to use Metagross over Solgaleo. Now, obviously, I don't think people have pointed out Metagross and Solgaleo because they're both pretty bad. But if you are looking for that Steel Psychic type, if you are looking for the specific niche it fills, you're using Metagross. You're always using Metagross. I can't think of really many ways you wouldn't want to use Metagross. But here's one I could think of. What if you had Flygon with Bulldoze onto your Solgaleo with Weakness Policy? If you don't know what this is If you don't know, I'm referencing an old video where I did it with Metagross. Yeah. But yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's not good.
No, Solgaleo's not it. I also recently thought